When I was 14, I found out I was pregnant, and I went to the nurse's office at school.
Adrienne Rowley, now in their 20s with a career and a home of their own, has always had a supportive family, but knew they needed some assistance with a baby on the way.
And she's like, I have so many resources and pamphlets for you, and she just dumped them in my lap, and I was like, oh, this is great. So I found one of Bright Futures, and I called and I was like, can you help me at all? And they're like, yes. And immediately I got connected with public health and a social worker, and they educated me about raising a child and child development, and it was so helpful.
Olmsted County's Bright Futures program helps parents who are minors fulfill their goals of taking care of themselves and their children.
Like graduating high school, figuring out what they want to do after high school, gathering a good peer support group, getting access to social activities that are sort of like something that's of interest to them. Eventually, independent housing. All teenagers are like, can't wait to move out of my parents' home.
Bright Futures started the housing program with Bear Creek Housing, and they had got some apartments that they said, well, we can put the moms in these to have them a step in between living at home with their parents, and they were able to get into that program and have just like a safe and secure home.
For 2 years, Adrienne and the Bright Futures team figured out a plan to make sure Adrienne could be a successful parent and a successful adult.
They work on figuring out who, how, when do I want this vision to get going, and then moves forward.
It ended up being really, really great.
The vision Adrienne had was a similar vision Olmsted County resident Joshua Kuhlman had after realizing he didn't want to continue on the path he was on.
At a really young age, I started drinking and partying. It seemed like it was like what you did in a small town. Like the parents went to the bar at night and the kids kind of like were free to roam. Moved out the day I graduated, moved in with some buddies, and then I could really party. I just partied for like probably 30 years. I couldn't hold a job, just like didn't really care. Did a lot of like sold drugs, that's what I did. One night sitting in a jail cell, I just like was reading the Bible and something, I read this scripture. It was like John 3:19, and it talked about people love the darkness more than the light because all their deeds are evil. And I just like flashed back to like 3rd grade in school, getting caught smoking cigarettes. And like from that point forward, like every single thing I did in my life was in the dark that I did. Had to be hidden from like my parents, teachers, cops, like, and I was like, I'm like done. I'm done like living this lie.
He went to Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge and became sober. He also knew he wanted a home of his own.
Housing was hard to find. I was a felon. Didn't have much money. Hadn't really had much for like work history. So like nobody was like jumping at like me to be their tenant. You know what I mean? And I couldn't really afford it.
He learned about Olmsted County's master leasing program, where people with poor rental or credit history can rent from the county as their landlord and build credit history.
With master leasing, the HRA signs the lease with the landlord, and we pay the full monthly rent, security deposit, and then the sublease tenant, which is the referred client, pays us 30 to 40% of their monthly income, just like all the subsidized rental programs work, and a small security deposit.
Joshua was determined to make that property his own. He went back to school and became a legacy director at Next Chapter Ministries in Rochester, helping people who have gone through similar struggles and even working alongside some of the very people he had been running from in his previous life. Because of his determination, he qualified for a home that he and his daughters can rest their heads in at night.
It's a great feeling to know that we have programs that assist people and assist people to help make them self-sufficient.